What's up, Taiwan? I'm Rik Glauert with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. 3 million people in Taiwan are expected to benefit from a 7% hike in welfare subsidies beginning next year. Tiffany Wang has the details.
Existing subsidies and pensions will increase for low-income residents, people with disabilities, disadvantaged children, the elderly, and low-income farmers. These are some of the new welfare benefits the Executive Yuan announced will be rolled out over the next year. In total, the plan is expected to cost about $4 billion. While on paper it might seem like good news for those in need, some remain uncertain about when they'll begin to see real change.
加减好，因为我们其实要等那个调，就是要等到特定的时间嘛。虽然很少，但是就加减嘛。
The increases in social benefits are based on the expected consumer price index growth for this year. But the cost of the plan is estimated to leave the government short of nearly $625 million.
如果说预算书有若干不足，当然政府还是要想办法去支付。
This follows a 4% hike in the minimum wage starting next year. But some groups say, despite good intentions, the benefits are still not enough.
加几百块，就这样子等啊！我们生活在社会上花的成本会很高，医疗耗材去也很贵，个人住的也有自负额。
While the new benefit reforms may help some, legislators will still have to find solutions to other issues and a widening economic divide. Justin Wu and Tiffany Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Presidential hopeful Hou Yu-ih has arrived in the United States for an 8-day trip. He'll visit several cities, including Washington, D.C. and New York. He's due to meet with members of the US Congress, think tanks and journalists. Hou is running for the opposition Kuomintang in the upcoming presidential election. He says his trip is an assertion of his commitment to democracy.
这一次的访问也期待美国能够持续对台海区域的稳定 和平给予更高度的关注，并协助台湾对印太区域自由经济贸易的参与。
The local tourism sector is struggling with a deficit. Outbound travel is seeing a post-pandemic boom, while inbound visitor numbers stagnate. John Van Trieste reports.
Downtown Taipei is busy with tourists, but not nearly as busy as it used to be. The local tourism industry has seen sluggish recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. From January to July, the number of visitors was just around half the number of local tourists heading abroad. One of the main problems is that the tourism industry relies heavily on visitors from just a few nearby countries. But at the moment, these neighbors are staying away.
最大宗的3个 客源地，第一日本，第二中国大陆，第三韩国。外国旅客来台的人数不如预期。
Japan's weak yen and Taiwan's rising prices mean Japanese tourists prefer to stay home. Meanwhile, tourist links with China have yet to be restarted after they were cut off during the pandemic. But even once all this passes, some say the industry will still have another problem to overcome. Visitors tend to stick to a handful of heavily promoted attractions. Once they've checked these off the list, they go home and don't come back. Just around 20 to 30% of overseas tourists are repeat visitors.
总不能我们在对外行销总是101故宫、阿里山、日月潭、台湾的小吃夜市这样的一个宣传效果，其实它是适用于第一次想要来台湾的。
Those in tourism say the local industry has to stop just pointing people towards these usual tourist trails and offer something different. Otherwise, overcoming the tourist deficit may prove to be a difficult task. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A new sinkhole has opened in a street in Taipei. It's the latest in a string of cave-ins to hit the roads of the capital city. The 2-metre-wide, 1.5-metre-deep hole led to nearby homes and businesses briefly evacuating. Erosion from groundwater is the usual cause of sinkholes, but investigators say this time it was an improperly installed underground pipeline that caused the road to crumble. The US government believes that China's Defense Minister Li Shangfu has been placed under investigation. That's according to the Financial Times newspaper. Li has not been seen in public since the end of August. He abruptly pulled out of a meeting with Vietnamese defense leaders last week, citing a health condition. It is not the first mysterious disappearance of a top minister in China this year. Former Foreign Minister Qin Gang was abruptly replaced in July after he also disappeared from public view for several weeks. To learn more about what is behind Li's disappearance, I spoke to political scientist Hsieh Zhuang, an associate professor at the National University of Singapore. How often does this sort of thing happen? High-profile members of China's ruling elite, kind of not appearing in public.
Well, I mean, it happens from time to time, but I think the frequency of two highly visible members of the State Council, this is Li Shangfu, Defense Minister, Qin Gang, the former Foreign Minister, that is unusual, and it also comes against the background of a number of other removals, high-profile removals in the military. So we've seen the removal of the number 1 and number 2 of the strategic rocket forces. We've seen the removal of the head of the PLA military court. So this spate of reshuffles or purges, however you want to look at them, seems to suggest that there is some instability in the top leadership.
Does it say anything about Xi Jinping and the way he's ruling the country? Does it speak to any turmoil there?
It does suggest that there is some unhappiness that she has. I mean, it's clear that she has consolidated power, so any removals has to be likely because she is unhappy with something. We don't know exactly what. The fact that there seems to be a concentration of these efforts to remove people in the military apparatus suggests that she might feel that something is not right there, something needs to be fixed. But to be honest, we don't know what. From the outside at this point, the worry is, of course, that the movement of people and the removals could portend some sort of instability in China's strategic behavior that might end up being inadvertently provocative somehow.
What does this sort of instability, removals and reshuffles at the top of China's ruling elite, what does that mean for the way China is governed and how it deals diplomatically with other countries?
I mean, it does suggest a big concentration of authority in the person of Xi Jinping. He decides who stays and who goes. But that personal imprint may also suggest that his own view trumps whatever potential views out there. But alternatively, if the corruption accusations are real, it would suggest that the PLA system is quite ridden with disciplinary problems and issues with professionalism, which is certainly not a good look either, and doesn't also lend itself well to maintaining stability and things like that. The big takeaway really is that all the removals suggest a certain brittleness to the PRC system, despite, or maybe because of the concentration of authority around Xi Jinping. And that, I think, creates some degree of concern and worry.
That was political scientist Hsieh Zhuang speaking to me about Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu. Australia is cracking down on former armed forces personnel who are found to have trained foreign militaries. Under the new laws introduced to Parliament by Defence Minister Richard Marles, anyone found guilty could face up to 20 years in jail. The legislation follows a string of cases where former military pilots allegedly trained Chinese aircrews in South Africa. The United States and the Philippines are in talks about expanding US access to Philippine military bases. The discussions come after the Philippines military raised concerns about the number of Chinese fishing vessels in the Philippine Sea. The move is likely to anger China, which was accused Washington of fueling tensions in the Asia-Pacific. That was after the Philippines granted the US military access to 4 additional sites, allowing US access to a total of 9 Philippine bases. Taiwanese-American basketball star Jeremy Lin has signed with the new Taipei Kings over his former team, the Kaohsiung Steelers. He will now join his younger brother, Joseph, on the Kings. Jeremy Lin transformed the poor-performing Steelers into playoff contenders when he joined them last year. He's the only person of Taiwanese descent to have played in the United States NBA. He became a worldwide sensation in 2012 during his dominant play with the New York Knicks, which became known as Linsanity. Taiwan's athletes are looking to secure medals during the Asian Games next week. After falling short last time, the country's boxers hope that another 4 years of training will help them punch up toward gold medals. Bing Wang reports.
26-year-old Taiwanese boxer Huang Xiaowen spars with her trainer in preparation for next week's Asian Games in Hangzhou, China. Huang is one of Taiwan's best boxers, winning a bronze medal at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, the first medal earned by a Taiwanese woman in a boxing event. But since then, it's been 3 years of subpar performance, leaving Huang disappointed.
教练有说过，不是我退步，只是没有什么进步，就是可能有点在原地踏步的那种感觉。
After seeing a psychologist and training her younger teammates, she roared back to win gold in this year's World Championships. She's now optimistic for the Games and believes her teammates will perform well too, such as the Yu team. Ling won bronze in the previous Asian Games, but faced a low point after losing in the first round of the Tokyo Olympics. She didn't let her disappointment keep her down for long though, as she won gold at the 2022 World Championships.
5年的一个时间里，其实自己在调整这段时间，其实我自己觉得啊，就是提升了蛮多东西的啦，可以夺金，也可以拿到奥运资格，这样是最棒的。
The boxers inspire each other to improve and strive to win in the Asian Games, and they hope propel Team Taiwan up the medal table. Devin Tai and Bing Wang for TaiwanPlus.
Now, what would it take you to climb 91 stories as fast as you can? For participants of the Taipei 101 run-up, cash and a shot at eternal glory are among the many draws. Leslie Liao reports.
That is Taipei 101, the tallest building in Taiwan. It's equipped with one of the world's fastest elevators, which can take people from the bottom to the top in less than a minute. But on October 14th, thousands of people will forgo the quick ride and climb their way to the top. 91 stories, 2,046 steps, and a 390-meter vertical climb. That's what people participating in the annual Taipei 101 run-up can expect. Organizers call the event a vertical marathon and say it's one of the hardest in the world. It's back after a 3-year break because of COVID.
在疫情期间呢，我们没有办法举办台北101的垂直马拉松，这个健康而考验意志力、耐力的活动。
The event started back in 2005. That's also the year the record for the fastest ascent was set. Paul Craik from Australia made the 91-floor climb in 10.5 minutes. That means he climbed 1 story every 7 seconds, or 3 stairs per second on average. This year, Taipei 101 is offering cash prizes to the fastest climbers, and anyone who manages to beat Craik's record will get an additional $6,000 US. Over 3,000 people can sign up for the event this year. At stake isn't just prize money, but a chance to literally beat everyone to the top. John Su and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
One of the world's longest living reptile species has been spotted in southern Taiwan. The snapping turtle was seen by a driver in Taitung after Typhoon Hsieh. It's thought to be an escaped pet. Officials are now looking for its owner. The turtle is not native to Taiwan and could harm the local ecosystem.
它们其实平常就是生活在水里面，它其实不太动，比较像是一颗石头在底下。那它比较不会有什么，一般比较不会有什么危险，只是说你如果不小心踩到它，可能会被咬。
A once extinct species of snail has been returned to the wild in the Pacific Islands. Partula snails are known for eating decaying plants and fungi and help maintain forest ecosystems. But they were wiped out in the Pacific in the 1960s after the introduction of a larger snail species. Now, over 1,600 of the snails have been released onto the French Polynesian island of Moorea. It's part of a year-long project by UK scientists to revive the species. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave you with images of a Mayan archaeological site in southern Mexico. I'm Rik Glauert. Take care and we'll see you next time.